And we're going to start 1 minute early. All right. What has happened and what we're going to see tonight is I've been with Tony. It'll be 2 years in March. And Tony's got great indicators. And that's not because his son's here. And I learned all of Tony's trades. And I would see the flash trades develop into either reversals or at least counter trend that just continue. Well, actually, a trend trade. So I watched the charts for a while, and I wanted to see if I could garner more ticks per trade. It seems I was leaving a lot on the table. And another thing, I didn't like to pay on 5 ticks 20% commission to the brokerage house. That changed after a while. But so what has developed is that I came up, and it's a collaborative effort. I mean, I've talked to about 50 people so far, and this has changed over the years. I mean, over the months. But what has been working for the last 7 months very well is that I've changed some of the parameters that Tony uses, and I've got 2 types of trades. I call them crossover trades, which were in front of you, and then Tony's divergent trades, the flash, the speed tick, the McDiver, the first touch. So Tony's classic trades of those with those indicators. What I've done here is I have changed the obos to CCI on the candles, and the yellow and gold represent an obos situation. I have added the 8 EMA, and for those that don't have the indicators, I will supply the indicators that you can, if you're interested, to duplicate what I have here. And this is a double MA indicator, and it's the 8s on the 8's always next obviously to the candle. Next to the candle, the 13's here. Somebody 20 years ago told me the 8 EMA is the Fibonacci of EMAs. So I've used it on my charts for probably 20 years. Use 13 because that's what Tony uses. So we've got that is obos. That's the 8 EMA. It's the 13. This is the crossover. The indicator tells you when it crossed. You know, I just matched the colors on the inside. The other, what I have on the chart is this is equivalent to Tony's WMA 25. The reason why I don't use Tony's is I like to add different types of lines to my chart, and but Tony's actually works well, and it's important to use Tony's or one that matches Tony's because the color changes don't always appear on. I've tried about 4 indicators other than this one and Tony's, and the indicator changes color at different times, and it changes the whole results of what you do. Let's see what else I want to talk about on this chart. And we're doing this in layers so that we can just see. So the crossover trade, what I'm looking for in a crossover trade, I'm looking, this is a signal that the indicator says that it crossed over, but it has to be more than that. You need to see color between the 8 and 13 EMA. And the WMA, you don't want to, it has to change color in the direction you want to go. And it has to have some direction. If it's parallel or pretty straight, it doesn't count. It's got to show some direction. And you can see the reason for that is this is going down, but this is sort of going up. So it's the opposite direction that you want. So and here we go. It's real short. And you may not have made your 5. Well, you wouldn't have made your 5. You wouldn't even take the trade because this is not 45-degree angle. the 45-degree angle, there's an indicator down here that gives you the angle of the candle right at the candle point, but it's also translated onto the chart. So yellow means it's less than 45 degrees. Red going down means it's 45 or more, and green going up means it's 45 or more going up. So we've got the indicator change that we have an EMA 8. You get to see color. The WMA 25 is coming down. Wait for a 45-degree angle and take the first Obos candle in. It's a market in order, fixed target 5-tick stop, and you'd have gotten that one and that one, and you would have probably have gotten this one too because you're only seeing the right-hand side of the chart, and that's still red and it's still going down. So you got literally 3 5-tick trades there. Then come back, it's consolidating. It's more than 45 degrees. It's actually 60. You could have gotten 2 in that one. We'll talk about it more. So going up, again, going up, it's not that this is a cross, but it's not a play, but it still meets all the criteria. It's already, you see color, the angle's better than 45 degrees. You would hop in. If this didn't start out in Obos, you wait till it hits Obos and then mark it in. I wouldn't, well, it's not Obos, and I wouldn't take it because it's a divergent indicator. At 60, this is about a 60-degree angle. My rule for flashes and McDivers are I need at least 5 ticks from the EMA 8 to do it. You would have made this, but my experience is that when it's 60 degrees, it frequently doesn't make it. I just wait until it consolidates and goes in the other direction and take them up. Let me add, any questions?
So the 60 degrees, you're just eyeballing that. The indicator.
No, the indicator is there, and
okay.
And then this turns green. Oh, I apologize. I do eyeball, but there is an indicator telling you the degrees there. Okay. Don't get hung up on the. Somebody's calling. Wants to be in the class. Wait a minute here. All right. Let's just see if I can get him to the group. Andy. Andy Richardson, he didn't show up. Let's see what happens if I do that. I wish I knew what to do with it. And the directions on Skype are so bad.
Yeah.
They have a bunch of people raising little, hey, this is how you do it, but no detail. See, Andy, let me see if I do it this way. I don't know how to get them in. I can't.
There should be something for that he sees in the room for join.
Yeah. Well, but he's not in the room.
Oh.
I mean, I don't even see where my room thing is. I have the individual people. Oh wait, maybe down here. And I apologize for that. Richardson doesn't even show up in the list. Just do another call. All right. I can't get him in. happens. Anybody have any questions on what we're doing here?
So you're taking the trade at once Obos hits, not necessarily on the open of a bar or close of a bar, just once the Obos hits.
It has to be, yes, it has to be 45 degrees or higher.
Mhm.
And you want the WAMA in the direction of the trade, and also the color change. Down here, obviously the color change is a moot point, but you want the 45 degrees in Obos.
Okay.
I look at Obos as internal inertia of the candle. Doesn't give me size, I don't care. And my little ditty for Obos is that Obos begets an Obos until it doesn't, and it's an Obos in the opposite direction, or generally two plain non-Obos candles. The reason why you'll find an Obos interesting, and I know you guys have a new indicator coming out where I can keep the CCI indicator on the candle and then put the RSI on. My problem with the RSI, no problem, it works, but it doesn't happen often, and that's good and bad depending on what you're doing. But you'll see this one has the FT lines, and I use the rolling pivots at 15 minutes versus 30. But Tony takes, if the opening candle is on a speed tick, is under that FT line, Tony takes it automatically, and he's hoping for 5 ticks in and out, and it happens frequently. I'm suggesting if you see an Obos, you're going to get another Obos more times than not. Not to say it won't come down, but I have another thing we'll show you a little later for confluence, and that you can catch it on the way down after it already goes up 5 ticks. Okay. But the other things I've added to the chart, again, we've talked about the rolling pivots, 15 minutes. The FT is there. Another difference in why it became DarkSide is Tony won't trade into support or resistance, and I look at it, but if my other indications are there that it looks good, I'll trade. And what looks good in my world is if this is a 60-degree angle, it's going. Okay. I mean, more times than not. And I still have some confluence for it to show that in a second. I've added this MACD-BB, a momentum indicator. And what I'm looking for here, number one, the yellow dot's another indication that the EMAs 8 and 13 have crossed. So it's another visual if you want it. But what I like, what I have it on the chart for is when these are standard deviation lines. This is the plus, so this would be a green. If it over here, if it goes through, it'll be a green. First time it goes through is right there, so it's a green candle. I'm sorry, a green arrow. And what that gives me is, it's still not a trade I'm going to enter, but at this point, but it gives me an indication that there's an additional inertia on this candle. Now, even though this is going up with this green candle, the candle still went down. So it's not a trigger. It's an additional confluence. This particular candle meets none of our criteria, or none of my criteria for any kind of trade, but that's what that arrow is for. And conversely, the red one is the first time it goes down on the thing. And you'll also find as it rides down the outside the standard deviation, gives you more confidence to enter that trade, even though you have this, this 45 to 60 degree angle and Obos, it gives you more confidence to trade that trade.
Okay.
All right. What I do use for the most important indicator on the chart for me is the angle of the EMA 8. The second most important thing on my screen is the 4 range chart in total. And I look at the 4 range bar as what's happening inside the minute candle. You get 4 to 7 4 range bars using candles, and the reason why I use candles versus any of the other things is I can put oboes on it. You get 4 to 7 candles of peaking as to what this is happening in here, just versus going up and down. The other things I put on this range bar is a polynomial regression. The indicator is called PRC6. It's the white dots, the blue dots, and here's the center line. And what you will see is that the instrument, not just this instrument, it's all the trading instruments that we trade, have a tendency to go from one side, almost like a sine wave, to the other. Not saying it can't run along the middle, not saying that it can't go past, but it gives me an idea of when their boundaries are, and then when they're thinking about going the other direction. So I squish it up like this, so these angles are more prevalent. And I'm sorry, and this indicator here is the CCI indicator set on a 34 period. All the indicators come with PDFs to tell you the settings if you decide to do it. And you still have the same 813 cross. It's the same settings there. This is still the WMA 25. And I'm looking to see, and it only works, it's static charts are difficult to align what's happening here with what's here. Now, this is a live chart, just going to be slow at night. But what you're looking for is, I'm not going to take a long here. I'm looking at the support line, but I'm also looking on this 4 range bar. I'm not about to take a long on my minute chart because I'm approaching this. The CCI is coming down. You'll find that the CCI indicator, once it passes the 100, which is, that may not be that. It may be the 50. CCI is an overlay. Huh. Well, once it crosses the line, it is a stronger indication. And watching this is pretty powerful. I wish it was more action. Again, what you'll notice, if a lot of times I don't trade in chop, but this comes in, this happens in chop, and it's a valid entry, and we're going for 5 ticks. You could play the range bar. Wouldn't tell you to play it all the time. Play the minute bar, because when the minute bar is active, this range bar is pretty quick. But it gives you, if you watch it, it gives you great insight on whether to get in or get out of a trade. Manage your stop to get out at, break even plus 1, 2, 3, or sometimes 4. Because what you're going to see sometimes, it comes up here fast, it starts to go around. I'm happy to go away with 4 ticks. It doesn't have to hit my target. I'm target oriented, but I'd rather have 4 ticks than a break even plus 1 or a minus. I really aggressively manage targets. Any questions?
No.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, on flashes, I look for 5 ticks between the EMA 8 and the opening of the candle. The EMA 8 is flat. You have a higher probability, even if it's 4 ticks. If the candle before the candle you're going to take the flash on is Nobos in the direction you want to go, there's more momentum there. But if you watch this range chart, you'll get a good indication of what that candle is doing. Yeah. And that's it in a nutshell. Wow. I'm going wow because this is the shortest one I've ever done, not by intent, but I must be learning how to be more succinct.
So the ring.
No, I watched the crossover. I'll tell you why, because I watch it all the time. It's the second thing I'm watching. I'm watching where the candles are relative to. I would love to. It's just not. Unfortunately, it's just not, because it's inside the candle. They don't relate well to global. The reason why I'm watching it here, there's no speed tick on this, which is interesting, which is good. You could enter this a couple times, but so you enter it twice, but you're watching over here. You're down here, and you see the range bar going the opposite direction. So I'm not going to enter it a third time. I'm looking at the 1856 candle. I'm not going to enter it a third time because my CCI is flipped in the opposite direction. Okay. I would say in the beginning, there's a couple things. One of the guys has changed, and they're all changeable. Instead of doing 45 degree, I originally had 35 degree angles here, and that's because a quantitative number. I mean, I don't run the statistics. My average is well over 80% success in taking trades. Just depends on, I'll tell you what, it depends on how well I adhere to my own observation and rules as to how high we get above 85%. But one of the guys has changed this angle to, instead of being 45 to change the colors, changed it to 50. And while you get a little less number of opportunities, he says he's getting a lot higher percentage of wins for him. 60 is almost guaranteed. And where I like, and what you'll also notice is when they're going up, well, this is not even a good one. When they're going down like that, sharp, over 60 degrees, you can hop in 3-4 times here. I would not hop in on this. Now, I will tell you, if you're watching the range bar, not obviously this one, but if you get a flash and you have the angle, and the flash for up, and you have the angle, you wait for the range bar to start going down again, and you can hop in there. I do that all the time, because I'm betting that the candle, the bar doesn't have enough energy to go past the 60 degree 8 EMA. So the steeper this is and the closer, I don't usually take trades that are, you can see this is all you wouldn't take this one because it doesn't meet the criteria, even though it's a flash. It hasn't crossed yet. It's still green. Even though you have a 45 or better degree angle up here, you don't take it until it gets here. So you take that trade. This is a nifty trade because I try not to take a candle that's more than 2 widths away from the EMA 8, because when we start to separate out, now you don't see all this right now. Let's see what timer is at. 1542.
So you don't take into account that it's trading into that.
Well, you don't see it. So I mean, I'm trying to get you down. So, and I haven't done the numbers, but I know. I mean, this is coming down. I see. This is about what you would see on the minute chart. You look at the for what's happening on the range chart. It's just that I won't be able to. It doesn't correlate when it's on a global when it's static. So I'm looking what's happening there, and you wouldn't see the flash either. Obviously, you're not going down when you see a flash.
GC.
Well, the flash just stays there, but because you get if this extrapolated down, I'm more than 2 candles away. I mean, you get to know that, and you see the angle of this starting to flatten out. I'm not taking that trade, and it'll be confirmed real time with this. And I also find that the first 2 are your strongest trades. So as you get down, unless the angle is 60 degrees coming down, I don't usually get into subsequent trades. Wait for it to come back. Now I'm I'm right next to it or 1 candle away. You hop in here. It's as soon as it's Obos, and this would have been Obos probably right away. And if you hopped in here, 75, you'd have gotten your 5 there. This would have been an iffy one because I see it's floating away. It depends on what the range chart told me, and I see it's still below that, so I'm guessing I would have done that one too.
Okay.
So Bob, you said you would have taken that. The first trade you would have taken is where the arrow is.
Yeah, not because the arrow's there, because I've seen some color. The
Okay,
color
I was gonna say, is that enough color?
I've seen a little color. I've got to turn on the. I may not have hopped into this until it's here. I want to see the color change on the range bar. And I know that I'm outside the standard deviation from that arrow. So it's all pretty good. I mean, I will tell you what's going to happen as you get really good at this and you want to be a little braver, you're going to hop in there. I'm not suggesting that's a good play. I'm suggesting it's going to happen a lot because you're outside the standard deviation all along here. You got better than a 45-degree angle here. And I'm just trying to give you there's no guarantees, but I'm trying to give you high probability trades. So this is the high probability trade. And the other thing that makes this is the 120 EMA, and I found, and I use that just to see what market sentiment is. Every time I see the 120 EMA cross, in the same, it's going white's down, green is up. There's added impetus to this particular run. It could go way up the green right away, but at that point right there, there's added impetus into this area. Momentum, impetus, whatever you want to call it.
So when you're seeing your first Obos candle where you want to enter, are you going to time the entry off the 4 range, or you're just going to jump right in?
No, as soon as I mark it in.
Okay.
Use the 4 range to keep you out. If it looks good, you go right in.
Okay.
Anything else? Well, they figure in as I observe them. You'll find if you do this, you'll find a lot of time that the PRC6 will align itself with the FT or the rolling pivots, and it's like a double border. I lost electricity in the house today, so I really didn't trade, but a few trades. But see along here, I mean, this is the FT line, and you watch, and then here's the first Obos, and you can get in. There's no Obos that's going to get you. This is too far away. And you get in here, You could get in there. You could get in there. I will. I do have two. If you don't play speed ticks in the beginning, that's fine. If it depends on entry. I do play speed ticks, but I have my one dome is standards Tony 7 stop, break even +1 if it hits 5 and doesn't fill, and 5 target. If I have a second dome right beside it, if it's a speed tick, I used the markets has had pretty good volatility, and a few weeks ago I've changed the stop to 12. And so I don't, because seven sometimes if this kicks in and you're here, you can get 7 against you real quick, and you're out of the trade, and you've still been a winner. And I managed the stop. I'm very aggressive on my stop management. I mean, rarely do I get a 7 stop, or I've never gotten a 12 stop. I rarely do I get a 7. I'm sorry?
That was going to be my question. Do you ever get hit on a 12 tick stop?
No, I haven't. I'm pretty aggressive about that and watch the thing. But yeah, I'm averaging 20 to 40 trades a day. I'm doing two contracts, and I get a lot of ticks, and my own personal. I get a lot of ticks, and I get a lot of break even +1s too. In 20 trades, 25 trades, I can get 5 break even +1s. I consider it a free trade. And my own personal rules are. I don't care if I don't care what my net is. As soon as I can have a $2,000 plus day, and if I have $300 worth of losses, the next loss I stop trading. It could be a $20 loss. I've stopped trading.
Okay.
That's how I do it. Today, let's see what I traded a couple minutes in the morning because I lost I started at 8. I lost electricity around 9. And I traded a little bit from 146 to 158. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 16, 10. I did 11 trades, and one break even. Everything else hit target or better. I ended up with 137 ticks.
Wow.
Okay. I'm trying something new. and it worked. And I was late in the day. I wanted to try one thing. The reason why I tell you this is because to show you that it works. It's on a different computer. I can't show you the thing. But after you get, I hope it's not quite ready for prime time, but I think I figured out a way of getting more than 5 ticks with a high probability of success. So, well, I'm working on it. While Tony has reframed my mind about overhead and stuff like that, it doesn't mean I really want to pay these guys the commissions, the high percentage of commissions.
Yeah.
So, any other questions?
What is it looks like a little D with a line through it.
Oh, that's the ricochet.
Okay.
My wingding for that and my computers do not like the little squiggly arrow for the ricochet, and so I gave up trying to keep putting it back because it keeps changes it. And I've got it's on both computers do it, and the computers are like 2 years apart. One's last September, and the one's like 2 years ago in December. Both high-end processors. They just don't like the wing thing for the squiggly for some reason.
Okay.
So I gave up trying. I know what it is. It's my secret weapon.
That's
So
what I thought.
I like the Ricochet. I consider it like a baby Flash, and I don't have enough rules to figure out how it works all the time.
Okay.
You can ask any questions anytime. The room is not the room is to answer people's questions. I mean, actually, my game plan is to get Tony interested in doing the education and adopting this into his trading.
I thought we'd see him here tonight.
Huh?
I thought we'd see him here tonight.
Well, I gave him a presentation on Sunday. He gets private.
He sent Junior.
Yeah. Well, it's contrary to his. Well, he sent Lisa, but Lisa never made it for the last 3 months. They had her too busy. It's short-term trend trading. So it's bunt trend trading is what it is. You're just going for the 5 ticks that you're going to get. And I'm not worried about all this junk in here. I mean, part of it's, well, I know that a couple people listen to my thing. You got to trade your personality. And what I don't like about long runs is you come down here, you sit through 10 minutes through this, you get another good, let's see, you've got 520 there, you're almost 100 ticks. Well, I'm not really excited about giving 20 or 30 ticks back.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I don't like that. And then and because you know what, this is after the fact. It always comes back. You can always say, oh yeah, I lived through that. Living through that and looking at it on a static chart are two different things. And oil's been crazy. It doesn't. I mean, how up until this year, and I don't have has oil ever gone down this much continually? Not often. I mean, this is just a phenomenal money-making opportunity. You can't count this. But, and then earlier today, the damn thing shot up to 50-something, didn't it? I don't know. I was it's up to 52 here. So you're riding here. So, it's going down a little bit. It'll come back because it's on a high. Well, it didn't come back. It kept on going. I just, my personality, I'm not interested in the 100 ticks. I'm happy with 40 no-brainers or 30 no-brainer ticks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my personality. I'm not, none of it's right or wrong. It's just, that's why I say you have to trade your personality. I've shown this to about 50 people. There's 30-something, 38, 37 people in the room. So, I mean, they're interested in what I'm doing. But the interesting thing, the people that don't come to the room are not doing, and I've had people tell me this doesn't work. Some people say I've saved their lives, literally. I mean, their trading lives at least. The people that don't like it, I don't like Renko bars. And I'm not a Bloodhound fan. I think it's a fantastic tool. I personally am never going to let the computer have control of my money. I mean, it's like giving it to a stockbroker. I'm not doing that. And there are the people that don't, because I don't do Renko bars. Now, what's funny about that is how I'm looking to capture more ticks is with Renko bars. Because and I can't tell you why it works, but this 813 EMA crossover combined with the WMA 25 is scalable to every instrument I've tried. Haven't tried them all. I haven't tried every time frame. I'm a short person. I mean, I'm not doing 6 month notes or anything like that. I'm basically a future trader. Want to be a cash at night. Will it work on the NG and the gas and the DAX? I really haven't put it on. My guess is it will, but I don't have the temperament for that personality of the DAX. I never get to read it right. And because you go in, it stops. Like the NG, it goes in and it stops. With the NG, every time I place an order, it stops. Before, and it's no fun. I trade oil, gold, and the Russell. I don't the others that we trade. Oh, I don't trade the ES. And the YM and the NQ, because they're $5, I don't trade them because I can't get free trades. I got to do 2 ticks to get free trades. Got to win, because it's only $5 ticks, so I don't trade them. And although they trend nice, and if somebody is really hesitant about playing the Russell or the oil, I tell them to go play that because the YM trend's okay, and so is the NQ. But the conservative approach, I would say, is to change the 45 to 50, follow the rules, and I can't guarantee you, but you follow. I can. You guys all have access to the room. Today was like everybody was saying how well they're doing after a couple of weeks with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Ron's probably been one of the longest, and he's doing close to 200 ticks a day.
Wow.
And I think he just said it. I don't want to tell anything out of school, but he wasn't successful trading until this came along. I think that's what he said. But I know if he didn't say it, it's basically true. So, and I put it out there, and it's what I would like Tony to do is to make an indicator that incorporates the 45 degrees or the 60 degrees and the WMA 25, so that the little signal comes on there. This is not a valid trade, and this isn't a valid trade here. Actually, you don't have any valid trade. This is the only valid trade in this line based upon what we're going to talk about right here, because this isn't 45 degrees. Now, real candid. It probably says, the indicator, I don't even agree with what the indicator says is degrees, but my eye and that indicator don't agree. But it's a baseline. If it's at 44 degrees, it's going to be just as good as 45. And go over to confluence on the range chart to make a decision. But basically 35%, the 45 is called 70% chance. 45 is 80, and 60 is 90 plus. If you want to be a little more conservative, Ron is using the 50 degrees, and he says he's at least 90% effective just by doing that. I endorse that. That's do it. I did it at 35 because I'm willing to get in at 35. Because I have confidence in the indicators and the confluence of the 4 range chart. Not every 35, but I'm willing to look at a trade at 35 degrees. It depends on how much risk you want. At 45 and above, there's no risk if you listen to what I just said. You'll come out ahead. The problem is hesitancy. I want to make sure it's clear, so you come in here, and then you get whipped around because it's going back and forth. You got to get in. You want to get as close to that EMA as you can. You want your candles close. If this doesn't start out as obos, as soon as it's a market order. Don't try. Non-market orders aren't going to work all the time. And then you start to chase, you miss it by 2, then all right, I'll put the market in, and you have the market slippage of 1 or 2 ticks. Just start off with a 1 or 2, and you've got plenty of room to run the 5. 49 to, that'd be more than 2 ticks. 52.49. Wow, it's only 2 ticks. Okay. So, you wouldn't hopped in there. You hopped in. I said the only viable. Well, I said you could opt in there. And if you hopped in there because it was 45, 44, 42, it's a little flat, but you just still, so you don't get it on this candle. You got it on the next candle.
CLEMA.
So if you have questions later, Skype me, email me, whatever, call me.
Well,
It's a MACD BB. It's a MACD, so it's a momentum indicator of the BBs. What's important to me is that I would like to know when the momentum is below the standard deviation. So it's going south there or going north, and it's also represented by an arrow, and it's going to hit the standard deviation, and there's the arrow. I look at that as it's momentum indicator, so it's additional impetus to go down. As it's staying outside the standard deviation, it just gives me more confidence. If you need more confidence, if you want more confidence than the 45 degree, it's you can see it's still going down, so you're pretty good. It's just to give. I mean, when I first started, I'm talking sim. I just used that chart. Okay, but as I explained to other people, they said, "Well, aren't you looking at anything else?" Oh, this chart and the range chart. The range chart I found very, very useful. Just have to get used to doing it, and that's by practice. So, and I've used the MACD BB before when I traded the Russell when it was the ER2, and I liked it. The reason it's only in the last couple of weeks that I've only doing 5. My first contract is always 5 hard target, 5 tick hard target. It's only in the last week to 10 days because I've done months of different ATM strategies, and the best one was only 10% better. So if I got 100 ticks in all 5s, I would have got 110. For the 10 ticks, it isn't worth the aggravation. Because if I didn't make my target on the second one, and which is more than 5 ticks, but sometimes they were trailing stop things, I felt like I failed. It's a break even +1, so it was a free trade, but that's not what I wanted. It's just much better mentally for me. Go in, every trade's $100. I'm okay to make $100 minus I ran out the $5. I use Ninja, so it's a little less, but I ran out $5. So for every trade, it's $90. Well, I can do that 20 times a day easily, and that's good. If I want more, do more contracts. Mm-hmm. It's about as stress-free as I've ever had trading. So I'm trying to share it. I mean, if you don't like it, you won't hurt my feelings.
Good stuff.
Nobody. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I mean, the 10 people that walked away, they want different things. It's not their personality. They want to go for the big home run. That's one of the reasons why I like Tony. I was never a home run hitter, but I was looking. I am, and I'm still looking. I mean, right now it's just 2 fixed targets of 5. I am looking for a way to get doubles and triples, but with just as much lack of stress as this is for me.
Maybe you just got to do those double tops and double bottoms.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Yeah, you laugh, but But Ted has really hit a hot button with me, and Lisa said, Lisa, I redefined. I originally had only VIPs because technically you could do this without Tony's indicators, and I do not want. I mean, the Obos to me is golden, and the flash is golden, but you could work around Tony's indicators, and I don't want to do that. I'm trying to I'm trying to be a good trader, and Tony's done a lot for me. I mean, Tony and I rules don't coincide for the most part at all, but what Tony provides for me, I listen every day to the room. He is rock solid on his approach, and he keeps me rock solid on my approach. So I'm getting better. I'm not, I would take that trade. Now I'm only taking if it hits all the things I'm telling you, and if it takes all the things I'm telling you. In the trades I didn't have any losers. I mean, on the two contracts, they don't all fill simultaneously. On the one contract that I did break even +1 on, I got plus $10 on one contract and a minus 10 on the other. So I call that even. There was, other than that, they were all positive. There was one for 20. Most were double, 50s. There was a couple 60s. Not that I had a 60 target. The momentum was there. And, you got 60 instead of 50. But most of it are, because they don't always go back. They don't always go through as to on the control center sheet. They go 1 and 1. They don't always go through as 2 because they don't always, I guess, get out at the same time. But, yeah, it's like clockwork. I mean, I don't get bored. Unlike Tony, I don't get bored. I mean, well, I'll tell you what. The other thing is, I tell people, Tony waits for the bus. I drive it. And that's the difference, because I'm driving to this location. Oh, bam! You can say I'm waiting for the bus, but I am. I'm waiting for the setups. I'm not looking to create a setup. I am waiting for the setups, but it's easier to drive where I want to go than it is to wait for the transfers. I don't know. It's Tony's great. I think he's super. I'm not saying that because Lisa and Connor are here. You can listen to the other. Other people have recorded that it's the same story, So Lisa, that's how this got started. Lisa and I clarified to Lisa my position on entertaining people here. If they want somebody to hear, that's fine. I don't like tire kickers. I mean, I have people come in the beginning, they, waste my time. I don't care whether you do it or not, but at least you're interested in looking. I'm not looking for tire kickers. I have too much invested in this in time and effort. I mean, there's thousands of hours in this. It's not like it's, I throw it together and there it is. But she said, I don't know whether she said it, but Ted would be, I did write this to, Ted would be my first person that I didn't allow in that met the other criteria. I mean, if he became a VIP, or if Lisa said, bring Ted in, I would not do it. Okay. It's not, so I'm not a great and gracious human being at all. He's not ready. He's not willing. He's not willing to reframe. He admitted, and I was brutal in the room to him. I mean, I know that I was brutal. He was really getting to me. And it doesn't speak high of my character, I guess. But, a guy who admits that he's had 20 years of non-successful trading, and he keeps going back to the double tops and the other things, who cares what he thinks? It hasn't been right for the 20 years. Why are we interested in it now? Yeah, I'm brutal. I'm not very Christian at sometimes.
I'm super grateful that I started off with this and I didn't get 20 years of bad experience before starting with this. So seeing a bunch of those people coming in, especially like Ted, and seeing the bad tendencies they have.
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, Tony is patience personified. I don't know how much patience he has with his kids, but he certainly has patience with his potential people, because I'll Skype him during the meeting and he says, just calm down. They all come around. Don't worry about it. I said, I couldn't wait that long for him to come around. We had one other person who is a VIP, so I won't mention his name. And I would tell this to Ted too, that I'm not talking behind his back. If he said, I'd like to join, he becomes a VIP and I'd like to join your group, I said, not until you have a change of attitude. You come back when that's there. And I don't want to hear a damn thing about double tops because they're only good after the fact. They're ridiculous. It's 10 ticks away before the trade's over by the time you know it's a double top. What good is that? So, in my opinion. So, yeah. I guess the only two people that don't have the indicators are Lisa and Connor. Are you guys interested in getting them? I'll send them out to you. If you're not, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely.
All right. I don't know how to make templates, to be honest with you. I don't know how to send templates. So what I do is I send out the indicator. I don't know how to do. The templates are easy. I guess I can copy the template. What I don't know how to do is that's what I know how to do is copy the indicator with the settings that are appropriate and saving that and mailing that. So what I do is I send.
Yeah.
Oh, the workspace, you mean?
Yeah.
All right. Does that change the indicator settings, the workspace?
If you change
If I send you an indicator with, I want blue, or the indicator came with blue, but I want to make it red and on the workspace, does that send the, all right. Well, we can try that. We can try that. No problem. But you still need to have the indicators to install before you bring up the workspace.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we can do that. I just, what I tell people to do is to use, make a copy of the, I suggest you only do one or two instruments too, because the difference between what I'm doing and Tony's doing, you still can do the flash trades here and all that, and everything else. By the way, before the new indicator comes out, putting on the OBOS on the CCI will not invalidate any of Tony's rules. I mean, all the testing I've done is anytime the RSI comes, and we'll verify that, when the indicator comes out, the CCI is popped too. So you can play all of Tony's rules with the CCI, the OBOS as CCI. Yeah. All right. So I will send the indicators out and a worksheet. But what I do tell people to do is make a copy of Tony's sheet so that all of Tony's template, so that the settings for the flash and the MacDiver and everything else are correct, and then just add mine, because there is one other. You know what? It's not showing because it's probably not active. There is one other indicator, and it's not here, and it's just to give more confluence, and it's yellow dots, and it didn't show up, and I didn't catch it. It's called, and this is the only tricky one. It has to match the minute chart. You have to match the price data with 1 minute, and for the volume chart, it would be 4 range, and the range is over here. Over here. The other, because I put them on both charts. The other thing you want to do is we're going to go get some volume divergence, and you come over here and you left mouse click, and that little box appears. And you have to click it twice, and then Ninja takes its eternity to do things. It comes up, and you just under indicators, and then you come down to volume, and you push OK. It works on the minute chart well. It's a little more accurate on the range chart, and it's volume divergence, and it just gives you another indication when there's a potential change in direction to the in the market. Just more hand holding, for me and others. It's just
So, Bob, did you
It's
have
not a trigger. It's not a trigger. It's just more heads up information.
Did you
Go
have all
ahead.
these indicators like written for you, or have you found these out on different sites? How did
Actually, most of them come from Big Mike,
okay.
and most of them come from Big Mike. My the gold is the volume divergence. Doesn't mean it says it's going down, but doesn't mean it goes up, and it doesn't mean it's long term. But it gives you another indication of what's happening. And it works a little better on the range chart than it does the minute chart. But that's it. The other thing, I guess the other caveat is, and I am just an empirical indicator tester. Those that work, I keep. Those that I don't, you saw a long list of the ones that don't work when I went to look for volume. I don't... I haven't done polynomial regressions in 40 years, and so I have no idea, and I don't know what the math is behind it. I know this works. People tell me my interpretation of CCI on the candles is totally wrong. That's okay. It works.
It works.
Okay. I mean, I'm not trying to. I'm just an empirical indicator tester. That's all I am, and no secret formulas or anything like this. And it works. It's fine by me. Why? I don't care. When it stops working, well, it's my avocation too. So I'm always looking for the next thing, something else. So if this stops working, I'm sure there's something else won't. But this is my chart. I mean, this is what I'm trading on. This chart and this chart. Actually, one of the guys, just in full disclosure, one of the guys in the room says he likes 5 range charts better. I actually put a 5 range chart down here the same size as this one just to see. Actually, not to confuse people, I like them both.
Yeah.
They show something different. And what they'll show, they both will have the same general direction, but sometimes the 4 range chart will be to here, and you say expecting to return, but the 5 range chart will only be here, so I have some distance to go. And so, so this is probably going to go past this line. And then I'm watching where the CCI indicator is on both charts, and if they're both going the same way, and I want to go that direction up, I will hop into the trade. Because I'm only going for 5 ticks. This is not home run hitting. And I'm ready to manage the stop. There's lots of, if you're just starting out, change it to 50 degrees. If you have problems on that, just let me know. We can change it. I'll show you how to change it, but change it to 50 degrees and take it within 2 ticks, within 2 candle widths. And it's and enter quickly with a market order, and it's money in the bank. But use sim first.
Absolutely.
Yeah, don't.
I would need money to trade live, so I'll be in sim for a while.
But when you see this thing at 60 degrees, it's a thing of beauty. This isn't a go. Here you'd have gotten in here, you came back, you're like 2, you'd have gotten in here, probably gotten in here, and you'd have gotten in there. So it's 3-4 trades. So for me to do 20, 30 trades, 50 trades a day is easy. Here's the problem. You got to be still through here. Keep your fingers off the mouse. Even though you can get 5 ticks in there, keep your cotton picking fingers out of there. Just let it happen. Have another chart up, and if your other chart's gold and it happens to look like the same thing, don't trade. Don't trade. There is so, and don't watch every tick. Don't trade every tick. Watch every tick. Do not trade it. Wait for the ones that are, this is a little bit far. Look, I don't even know what the range chart says. I see the support line. This is sort of flat. This is not really sharp. It's sort of flattened out a little bit. Don't take it. Would you have gotten it? Yeah, you gotten 5 ticks down here. But better yet, wait till it comes back here and you get the 5 ticks with no sweat.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many opportunities. It's okay to let some go by. Because the most important thing is to build confidence. The most important thing in probably in life, or 80% of life, is confidence. So don't want to do anything to undermine your confidence as you practice. I have one guy in the group. He was, he lost. He had a real good paying job. I mean, like $300,000-400,000 a year. He lost his job because of certain things, economic conditions. Mainly, the price of oil went to hell. And he says, I got to make up my income. I got plenty of money. I got 3 or 4 months to go. But I want to. I got to do it. So he was practicing 12 hours a day. I said, you're practicing too much. I said, yeah. Tell me about your family. He's got little kids. I said, go in the afternoon, play with the little kids. Go run. Get up. When this stuff happens, leave. You've got so many opportunities. You don't have to burn out. Well, don't worry about the money. Just have the confidence. Because, listen, and I'm stealing Tony's philosophy. Once you've got this down, and so you got 3 trades here, possibly 4. It's 20 ticks on 1 contract. All right, so move it to 10. Your comfort zone's not at 10 now because you don't have the confidence in it. Or you, like me, it's either confidence or I don't want to play $100 a tick because I'm sort of, I can't say I'm cheap, but I'm risk adverse, and I'm retired now, and I don't have any other outside income other than what I generate from here. And I'm fine. My investments are good. I own a lot of gold and silver, so in metal, so I'm okay. So this is my spending money, and so just don't push. Take the easy trades and build the confidence. And if you do that, you can make any amount of money you want. It's 1 tick to, or what was Tony's webinar? 2 ticks to paradise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This is between this and Tony, you've got paradise in your hands. Don't blow it. And you're blowing it if you want to play every tick. Just play every opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And once you have the confidence, and I suggest you look at the market 15 minutes before you start to play it.
See how it's breathing.
I'm sorry?
Just see how it's breathing.
Just how it's breathing. Yeah. And the other thing I've started to do lately, I can't tell you how many days I start live, and then the first 2 trades are losses. Start in sim and make the first two or three trades. There's so many trades, you're not going to miss any amount of trades. Build confidence first before you do it. It's helped my win percentage dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's crazy, but build confidence. That you're reading the market right. But and there's no hurry. There's plenty of time.
GCEMA.
All right. Well, I hope I haven't bored the hell out of you.
Nah, it's good stuff.
Not
at all, Bob.
And,
Very nice.
So, but I will send those indicators out to those that don't have them. And if you have questions, let me know.
Will do. Thank you very much, Bob.
You bet. Hey, how the room works? Somebody wants to get together, and the room is so I can do it in a group format. So I just put the time on the board. I'm doing a meeting at such and such a time. Anybody that's interested,
Okay.
hop on.
Very cool.
great.
All right.
Appreciated.
Thank you.
You'll have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Have a good night.